Okay, so hey guys, I got a What If series recommended by someone called Monkey Man. So today I'll be doing it. It is What If Goku was the reincarnation of Yamoshi? So the way this What If starts is we go back to a time before planet Vegeta, thousands of years into the past, and we now see in a planet called Planet Sadala some ancient Saiyans fighting for dominance. In this, we see a young man called Yamoshi. He was one of the Saiyans who was pure of heart, and he wanted to fight for the future of the Saiyans to be one that was bright and with good leadership. On the other hand, and he did this with his other 5 friends. But on the other hand, the rest of the Saiyan population was wicked and did not want to embrace change. So instead, they wanted a planet run by only fighting, and a planet where the strongest people are the ones who enjoy the spoils to life. So, to solve this problem, Yamoshi staged a rebellion with his other 5 Saiyan friends against these evil Saiyans. And he told them that unless the Saiyans are run in a just way, their society will never develop. But the evil Saiyans paid no mind to Yamoshi, and they fought against his rebellion. So when Yamoshi and his friends were about to be beaten, all of them sacrificed their ki to Yamoshi, and they all died while they gave all the remaining ki towards Yamoshi. And this unlocked a power that has never been seen before in Saiyans, where 5 Saiyans pour out their energy to one Saiyan when all of them are pure heart, and it creates the Super Saiyan God. So after this, Yamoshi staged a great fight, for his power had multiplied greatly, and he managed to defeat 3/4 of the Saiyans. But unfortunately, this power was only temporary, and it ran out, and in his moment of weakness, he was killed by an evil Saiyan named Vegeta. Yamoshi's last thoughts before he died was, if only I had a second chance to fix this society, maybe I could make the Saiyans a civilization that everyone can be proud of. And as he says this, all the way in the other world, King Yama, who in this scenario is not a King Yama we know right now, but let's say he's the grandfather to the King Yama we know right now, was listening to Yamoshi, and he heard his most honest plea, and King Yama felt bad for this Saiyan, and he thought that if this Saiyan got a chance, was actually successful, the Saiyans could have been a great race. So he gives King Yama one more chance and says, in a few thousand years, you will be reincarnated into a boy. Most of your memories and powers will remain in this boy, but he will not remember all of them all at once. But over time, it will unlock to him. So this boy will now be called Kakarot, and he will be your successor, who will bring the Saiyans to become a pure-hearted race. So, as Yamoshi dies, we now fast forward a long time into the future. We now see the king of the Saiyans, King Vegeta, the successor to the one who killed Yamoshi, looking at his new son inside of a space pod, and he says, "My prince, you're growing very well. Your power level of 500 at birth is nothing to scoff at. It's an amazing power level for an infant boy. You could probably kill all the low classes if you wanted at this puny state. Keep growing strong, my prince, and you will become the leader for this whole Saiyan race." And Now, in the other side of Planet Vegeta, the side of medium to low class Saiyans, we see a new boy being born. In this scenario, I'll say Goku and Vegeta are the same age, which means Goku is actually born 5 years before Planet Vegeta gets destroyed, which means that he actually will remember the Saiyans to an extent, and he'll have more influence in what happens in the Saiyan society. So, we see a new baby boy being born, and this boy, astoundingly, is born with red hair and red eyes. And as he floats along the space pod, everyone is astounded in what they see. But just as soon as it appeared, it quickly left, and Goku's Super Saiyan God transformation disappeared. On top of this, Goku was eerily strong for someone his age, and he even surpassed Prince Vegeta in power, as he had a power level of 700. This was enough to make Bardock fear for his son, as he realized if King Vegeta found out about Kakarot, he would exile him the same way they exiled Broly. So Bardock instead decides to take him, Raditz, Dine, and the baby Kakarot to planet Earth, and there they will train Goku on how to use his power, for when he comes back, he will become the new ruler of the Saiyans. So Bardock from a young age taught Goku that he will train to become the new Saiyan king, and he will lead the Saiyans to a place of prosperity, to which Kakarot believes is his purpose. So 5 years pass, but on the 4th year, this is when Bardock and his family escaped to planet Earth, meaning they had no knowledge of what happened to Planet Vegeta. Vegeta in this scenario was slightly more intelligent than the one we knew prior. So he had noticed that Frieza had been acting weirdly towards the Saiyans, which made him think that Frieza had been planning to destroy their race. So what he did was he came up with a clever plan to prevent Frieza from destroying them. He made sure that everyone would have escape ships on standby, and on top of this, he then was training his most powerful technique, the Blotz Waves, to make sure that they will have a perfect way to fight against Frieza, since the Blotz Waves multiply all the Saiyan's powers by 10 times. So Frieza now comes to planet Vegeta, and he looks upon the planet on a space pod and he says, "You monkeys have served me well, but now your end is upon you." And he then forms a death bow in his hand. As the Saiyans were prepared for this, they look on and they smirk forms upon their faces. And Prince Vegeta, King Vegeta, and the other Saiyans all throw Blotz Waves into the air and say, "Burst open and mix." And as this energy pulsates through planet Vegeta, we see all the Saiyans gaining the Ozaru transformation, each of them having their power multiplied by 10 times. And they all look upon Frieza in rage and in disgust, and they all launch blasts towards Frieza. Remember, Frieza in his first form only has a power level of 500,000, and since there are thousands of monkeys, of Saiyans, who have their powers to such a high degree, like since their powers multiplied by 10 times, and since they are much stronger than before, there is no way for Frieza to be able to fight against them in his pathetic state. So what happens is Frieza gets overpowered by the Saiyan's blast, and he is eventually killed by this blast. So now everyone heralds King Vegeta as their leader once more, and they're all so proud of his leadership. So now King Vegeta remains king of planet Vegeta. And planet Vegeta is never destroyed. Since King Cold has no idea that Frieza was planning to kill the Saiyans, he actually had no idea where the Saiyans were. And all Frieza's men were planning to attack planet Vegeta at that time. So no one survived the blast to tell King Cold what had happened. So King Cold thought that Frieza had died in an conquest to another planet, and never knew that it was the Saiyans who caused the death of the Emperor. So now, we cut back to planet Earth. We see a 6-year-old Goku and the Saiyans did befriend Master Gohan. So Master Gohan is still there in the scenario, helping the Saiyans train Goku to finally realize his potential as a real successor for the Saiyans. So this is where I'll leave it off right now. I hope you enjoyed, and if this goes well, I'll post part 2 as soon as possible. And have a good day.